Welcome back to another podcast with Mr. Hagan, and we are going to, on this podcast, continue with the determinants of supply. And my good in this case is going to be gasoline, gas. We used gas earlier for one of the demand determinants. We're going to do it again. And we're going to say the real world event is that we get some industry newsletter that predicts that gas prices are going to go down over the next couple months. So there's going to be this prediction. It's going to be a prediction. So we don't know it for sure. I mean, you never know the future for sure. But there's a prediction that gas prices will fall over the next few months. Gas prices will decrease over the next few months, Now, I said this is in an industry newsletter, and that's just important because that puts it on the supply side of the market. It's going to be the suppliers of gasoline who are going to be the people that are privy to this information about this prediction of gas prices. Now, before we get farther into this, let's get everything labeled. So we have the price of gas on the vertical axis, quantity of gas on the horizontal axis, and supply and demand intersect, creating an equilibrium. Here's my current equilibrium of gas prices, whatever that happens to be. Current quantity, whatever that happens to be. Those are our equilibriums. And then we get this change, this prediction that gas prices are going to go down over the next few months. Now, to make this clear, we need to remember, and you might want to jot this down to yourself, that suppliers always like higher prices. Suppliers always like higher prices. Everything else being held equal, they prefer higher prices. So if they think prices are going to be lower a few months from now, then what do they want to do today? Well, today they want to sell their gas before the prices go down. So they're going to be out there, whatever gasoline they have in storage, they're going to be bringing that to market and trying to sell it, and that's going to cause the supply curve to shift out to the right. Now, what's the determinant? The determinant is a change in expected prices. Change in expected prices. Now, we did price expectations on the demand side. We're now doing it on the supply side. And you have to be very, very careful to make sure that you know which side of the market you're doing it on, because it has different effects. Consumers react differently to price expectations than suppliers, and you can go check out our previous video on demand expectations of future prices in one of the earlier videos on this playlist. So, but let's focus now on the supply side. If we think prices, if I'm a supplier providing gasoline, selling gasoline in the market, and I think the price is going to go down in the next few months, then I want to, whatever gasoline I have in storage, I want to sell it now before the prices fall. So that's going to increase supply, shift the supply curve out to the right. And remember, an increase in supply is a right shift. Okay, so if I think gas prices are going to go down over the next few months, that's going to cause the supply curve to shift out to the right. As I sell more gasoline today, shift to the right, sell more gasoline today to try to sell it before the prices go down. That's going to cause, when the supply curve shifts to the right, that's going to cause the prices to go down, which is interesting that would happen. I'm trying to avoid lower prices, and by selling more today in order to avoid those lower prices in the future, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I end up actually pushing the price down, and the quantity in the market will rise. So we get a decrease in the price and an increase in the quantity. Now, what do we call that? Those changes in quantity? On the demand side, we moved along the demand curve. There was not a shift. We moved along the demand curve. So when we move along the demand curve, and remember, that's not pointing down, that's pointing to the right. So it's going to be an increase in quantity demanded. And on the supply side, the supply curve shifted to the right, so that's going to be an increase in supply. So what's going on overall here is, if we think the prices are going to go down in the future, suppliers, then they're going to try to sell more today before the prices go down, which is actually then going to cause the price to go down. And when the price goes down, consumers are going to want to buy more of the good. Let's look at our general rule. On the supply side, this is different than the demand side. On the supply side, if you expect prices to decrease in the future, then supply shifts to the right today. Sell your goods before the price goes down. On the other hand, and that's going to be today, if you expect prices to increase in the future, if you think gasoline prices are going to go up in the future and you sell gasoline, if you think that the price is going to go up in the future, then supply would shift to the left today. That is to say, if you think prices are going to be higher in the future, then you don't want to sell your gas today. You want to keep it in storage. You don't want to sell it at today's prices if the prices tomorrow are going to be higher. So you want to keep your gasoline in storage and wait for the price to go up. So that would decrease the amount of gasoline that you supply to the market today. That would cause the supply curve to shift left. So this one can be kind of confusing. Again, because it's on both sides of the market, you really got to stop and think it through. You really got to stop and think it through. Expect prices to decrease in the future, supply shifts right today. If you expect prices to increase in the future, supply shifts to the left right now today. This has been another podcast with Mr. Hagan. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next podcast.